Hi everyone, it's Lisa with Ink and Inspirations, and in this video I just wanted to give you an idea on creating a Christmas card that's an easy assembly and it maximizes the use of our great designer series paper. This one I'm using gingerbread and peppermint, and then the frosted gingerbread bundle that's on page 9 of the mini catalog that is current from Stampin' Up. And so it's just a great layout. The designer paper is the star, really, and just wanted to show you that. And then I'll do an alternate card to show you using this same layout with the Eden's Garden collection. So let's get started. First of all, I have a card base in Real Red cut at 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it at 5 1/2 and gave it a good crease with my bone folder. So that is our card base. And then we're just going to build up from there to start with. And so I have a piece of, this is cinnamon cider, which is one of the colors in the gingerbread and peppermint designer paper. And you can see I have a piece that I cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. But what I did is I used one of my Stitched So Sweetly dies and cut out the center to save and use for another card, because really all I want is this border around here to back this 4 5 1/4 piece of designer paper. And so you make use of the inside of that cardstock that will never show, and you have it for another project. So this, again, this designer paper is 4 by 5 1/4. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 to give it a really slim border around the edge of the designer paper. So let me go ahead and apply that. And I'm just going to put a really thin line of liquid glue around the edge here. And no one will ever know that you cut out the center of that back piece of cardstock. And see there, it does its job just right, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and put this over top of my card base. Let's see. So let me go ahead and put this down. Another thin line of liquid glue and center that where I have a really thin Real Red border. So now I'm going to work with the layers that are going to go here on the center front. So I have used the same layout where I'm using the Real Red cinnamon cider and then some designer paper. So let me grab these right here. I have a Real Red layer cut at 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. I have a cinnamon cider piece cut at 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. That's going to layer on top of that. And then I have my designer paper, and you see I chose a different background color and a different pattern so it would really stand out from this piece here, and that is cut at 3 by 4. So let's go ahead and layer those up. And if you wanted to, you could cut out the center of these layers as well. I didn't take the time to do that this time, but I wanted to show you that that is possible and a way to conserve and use that center part of the designer series, the cardstock that doesn't show. Okay, so here I am layering that over the Real Red, and then taking the piece of designer paper and going to put that over top. So if you're still looking for a design for your holiday and Christmas cards, this one is really easy to cut and super cute, okay? So now I'm not going to put that on yet. I want some ribbon, and I wanted it in cinnamon cider, and I didn't have any. So I'm going to make my own. I have bolts of this Whisper White seam binding ribbon, crinkle seam binding ribbon, And I can use my Stampin' Blends markers, which are our alcohol markers, and I'm choosing the dark shade of Cinnamon Cider, which is one of these cardstock colors we're using here. And it comes with light and dark when you buy the set of them, okay? But I like to use the dark for my ribbon. And I'm going to take this and use a brush tip and brush using the side. And just coloring that ribbon so I have some pretty coordinating ribbon to go with my card. So I'm probably going to color a little bit more than I think I need because I don't want to do it too short. And let's see, I'm going to tie it in a bow. So I probably need at least 20 inches. And I think this is going to be good right here. And I'll just cut off the excess. So it dries almost immediately. And when it colors the front and the back. So you're good to go there. And I'm going to get my ribbon scissors, which is a pair of the paper snips that I dedicate especially for ribbons, twines, and fabric. And then I'm going to take this and let's move that out of the way. And tie it around these layers that are already glued together. And that way it secures it down on the front of your card and adds that special touch with a little bit of ribbon. Okay. Tie this around. You can see it's already dry because it's that alcohol ink in there. And then I'll tie a bow. And then this is going to be ready to go. So now I can adjust and get these situated like I want. Okay, that's a little loose, but it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and use a mini glue dot to put behind the knot of that bow, and that will keep it securely in place. All right, now let me take, where are those ribbon scissors? Here they are. I'm going to trim off some of this and maybe just a tad here, and that's ready to go, just like that. So now we're going to work on our main image, so to speak. So what I decided to use there is the dies in this bundle are used or can cut out the these designs that are in the designer series paper. So let me see how I'm going to arrange these. And I chose this ornament and this gingerbread cookie. Okay, and I am going to just glue the gingerbread cookie down. Okay, and so let me take my liquid glue. And put that right there. Okay. I don't want to glue down this side too much yet because I'm going to have my sentiment over there in case I need to slide that underneath. Now I'm going to take the ornament, and I think I want to use this white one. Yeah, this white one. I like that, how it stands out. It's got the green in it too. And on this one, I am going to go ahead and use some red rhinestones. If I can find them here. Here they go. And put some of these just to sparkle this up a little bit. So I see some dots here along one of the borders above this scallop, and so that's where I'm going to use these red rhinestones. I think I'm just going to put, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'll do all of these along the bottom here, and then those three on top. These red rhinestones are in our annual catalog, and they're good for lots of times throughout the year. Love that red. Okay, so now this is going to be popped up here with Stampin' Dimensional. You see how that stands out so pretty? Okay. Be a little generous with our Stampin' Dimensionals. And just put that like this. Okay, and it can extend a little bit beyond because remember, it's going on this card base. Now look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I love this gingerbread paper. Now for my sentiment, I'm going to use Wishing You a Merry Christmas. And so I have a scrap piece of basic white. And I'm going to use my real red ink. Oops. I'll have to fix that. Sometimes I get too energetic and pop that lid off. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this here. And then I'm taking the Label Me Fancy punch and going to slide that right in, and it fits perfectly. Punch that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of the card, so that when I put the sentiment on, it stays nicely and I don't have to guess where it needs to be. Okay, so I'm centering that top to bottom, side to side, okay? And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to slide that a little bit underneath that gingerbread cookie. And as long as my sentiment shows and is not covered up, that works just like that, okay? And then I decided on this front to make this really cute, and I taken my Wink of Stella pen and coloring over that gingerbread like it's got sparkly sugar all over the front. Okay. All right, so there's our front. Now we're going to talk about the inside. So I wanted to share on this one, the sample, I used this stamp that's within the stamp set and stamped that border along that piece of basic white in cinnamon cider and left me enough room to write a message. This one, I'm going to make this where it can be a gift card holder. This basic white is 4 by 5 1/4, okay? And then I have a piece of real red 1 1/2 by 4 1/4 that we can use as a gift card pocket. So let me see. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. I think I'm just going to leave it blank on the inside because I want to have room for my card and room to write a message. Okay? You could even do a to from on the inside. So let me put this down here. All right, and then I cut this again 1 1/2 by 4 1/4, so it would go the length of from the card side, 4 1/4 all the way across. And I'm going to put a very thin line of liquid glue on 3 sides. I'm leaving the top open, of course, so you can slip your gift card in. And there you go. That will dry. And you could dress up the outside with some stamped images, or even put another cookie in here. Let's do that. Okay, and while we're at it, dress this up. So remember this little trick about putting that pocket inside? I'll be sharing other gift card holders as we get closer to Christmas. You can also tuck some cash in there. And but this is an easy way to do it with just a strip of cardstock. Okay, there's that card. Now let me show you this same basic layout with the same measurements, pretty much in the Eden's Garden. So I have 4¼ by 11 again, scored at 5½ for my base. I'm using soft succulent for this first layer. That is cut at 4⅛ by 5 3/8. My designer paper cut at 4 by 5¼ and those will layer up all together. So let's go ahead and do that. Same layout, same basic construction, but it's going to look completely different. Now my main image is going to be a stamped image and then die cut with one of my label dies, and you could choose anything, circles or I used my Hippo and Friends dies from the annual catalog that I use for so many things. And this is Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to center that here. Isn't that paper so pretty? All right. And then I have the 3 other pieces that go over top. So here is my, let's see, what was this? Oh yeah, 3¼ by 4¼ of Evening Evergreen, 3⅛ by 4⅛ that goes over top, and then the 3 by 4 that goes there, and it's a different pattern that stands out from that back pattern. See where I'm going? See how you can do this using, this is a great way to use 2 different patterns of designer paper on the same card and them not go into battle over each other for attention, if you know what I mean. You know, it just doesn't look too busy because you've got these layers separating them. And also I found that if your backgrounds are 2 different colors, like here it's basic white, this is Evening Evergreen. Here the background was Cinnamon Cider, and here it's real red. That is another little tip to make this technique with designer papers work. Okay, let me get this over here. Put over top. And then that's going to go like that. So I think I'm going to take some soft succulent ribbon and tie that around here. And this one I'm just going to tie a knot. On this card, I am choosing not to use a sentiment so that I can use it for any occasion. I can even use it as a Christmas card if I decide to, okay? Because it's got that gold metallic in it that is so pretty. Getting some ribbon scissors because my other ones have disappeared in the mess on my desk. Okay, so we've got that now. Didn't need quite as much ribbon because I didn't tie a bow. Let's get this glue dot. That helps keep it in place beneath the knot. And then here I have stamped the floral image from Eden's Garden on basic white, and then I die cut it with my Hippo and Friends dies. And let's see, I'm going to do that like this, I think. So I'm going to put that right there, and then if I decide to put a sentiment, I can put it right down there. And I also have another die from the Eden's Garden bundle, and I am going to just tuck that right there by the ribbon. And the inside I'm going to leave blank for now. I will use a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white, and then I'll decide if I need it to be a gift card holder or just a card with a sentiment like happy birthday. Okay, I think I'm going to put that like that. That works. Let's use some liquid glue here. Whoops. Oh my goodness. I'll have to get my adhesive remover if that adhesive dries there. So there's that. And now I can put it on the card, and then we'll have 2 card ideas with 1 layout. And you can do this so many times with different layouts on your card. I'm struggling with my seal here. All right, so now put that here. Just like that. And let's look at the 2 cards side by side. There you go. See the same layout, 2 different looks, okay, depending on what designer paper you use, what stamp set you use. But those layers that you just build up make a good base for whatever you decide to put over top. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, let me know. Visit my website at inkandinspirations.com, and I'll talk to you all again soon. Have a great one. Good night.